This video is going to show you exactly why Barraskewda is still a prime threat in the OU tier under Rain. How's it going, guys? Welcome back to another Pokemon Scarlet and Violet WiFi battle. Today we're going against Raymond in the OU tier. If you want to battle people like Raymond, definitely join the Discord server. It's the best place to go for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet WiFi battles right now. There is a link in the description down below. Please like and subscribe for more double daily videos from me. And with that being said, let's jump into the team preview. Okay, Raymond has brought a solid Rain team, just like I have. So this is going to be a battle of the Rain team. So he's got a Floatzel, Pelipper, Skeledirge, Screamtail, Gardevoir, and a Dunsparce. Not a Dunsparce, a Dunsparce. Eviolite Dunsparce, eh? That's pretty awesome. So looking at the team, I think they're probably going to lead off with the Pelipper or the Screamtail. In which case, I'm probably better off leading with either Scizor or the Rotom. I see no ground type, so Rotom's going to do pretty well here. So let's go ahead and lead with Rotom again like we did in the last game, and we'll just kind of go from there. And the battle begins, so Raymond's going to lead off with Hungrybox, which is going to be the Screamtail, as we lead off with Rotom. So pretty awesome matchup for us. So the thing I'm going to do with the Rotom here is it outspeeds Skeledirge, it outspeeds Gardevoir, it outspeeds Dunsparce, it outspeeds Pelipper. It's not going to outspeed Floatzel in the Rain even with a Choice Scarf, so we may as well just trick this Screamtail, right? We go for the trick. Nice little cheap tactic for me. Going to give this thing a Choice Scarf, and let's see what item it had as well, which it has a, what did it have? A Throw Spray. Okay, cool. Throw Spray. Oh dear, so they go for a Side Shock. They are an offensive Screamtail, so that's going to do some solid damage to us. It's not quite enough to get the KO, as now I'm going to go for a Volt Switch and just get on out of there. They go for another Side Shock, as you would expect. It's going to do a lot of damage. Now, you're probably wondering why I didn't hard switch into Scizor there. Well, it's mainly because if they did decide to switch out here, we would have some momentum on them, so I think it was worth the trade-off for the damage to get some momentum. Now we get a free switch in with whatever we want. I'm going to go into Scizor because Scizor is the ultimate switch into this thing. Scizor is just a really good Pokemon, as demonstrated in the last battle. You should definitely go check out the last battle if you haven't already. There is a playlist in the description and also at the end of the video. So let's go for a U-turn. Get on out of there. They're definitely going to switch out here. They don't want to lose the Screamtail just yet, so they definitely switch out into Skeledirge, I would say. As Skeletor, the Paldea champion, comes on in. That's a brilliant switch, brilliant nickname as well. I like Skeletor, that's a pretty cool nickname. We'll go for a U-turn, get some chip damage off, which is always nice. And now we get to go, oh, the Rocky Helmet, interesting. Rocky Helmet Skeledirge, that's a good one. That's going to stop us from having, we're going to have to be a bit less spam heavy with the U-turns right now. So, we can go into Rotom, we can go for a Shadow Ball. I kind of want to go into Pelipper to get the Rain up though. But if we get the Rain up, it's going to be very difficult for us to compete. So the great thing is that Floatzel gets outsped by our Barraskewda in the Swift Swim because Barraskewda naturally outspeeds. I think my best bet here is to go into the Pelipper and get that Rain up. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. We also have the Pelipper for the Floatzel, so that's like always a plus. We're going to get some raindrops falling on our heads, and we're just going to go ahead and whack a Surf at them because Surf is going to hurt everything on their team pretty much. They do withdraw Skeletor, they don't want it to go down, which makes a lot of sense. In hindsight, maybe I could have gone for a U-turn there, but decided against it, as they're going to go into Hungrybox, the Screamtail. So that's an interesting one. So Screamtail comes in. We'll probably, I don't know if it gets Thunderbolt or not. I feel like it does. Let's go into Scizor again, because Scizor is going to be doing a lot of the work against this thing. So we'll go into Scizor real quick. We should be able to wall this thing to infinity and beyond as they go for a Boom Burst, which is going to do some solid damage. I didn't even know Screamtail got Boom Burst. That's crazy. Imagine if Wigglytuff got that. That'd be awesome, because then it'd actually be stab. Let's go for the U-turn anyway. They do go for another Boom Burst, obviously trying to get as much damage off on the Scizor as possible, as we go for the Choice Band U-turn, which should KO as it does. So Screamtail goes down. We've already claimed a soul, which is a good start to the battle. Now they get a free switch in with whatever they want against whatever I bring in. Looking at their team, I would say probably Pelipper's the best switch, but at the same time, I'm kind of leaning towards Gardevoir. Gardevoir could do really well here. Or we could go Barraskewda. Barraskewda's a good one. I think I'm going to go Rotom, mainly because Rotom is on its last legs, and if the Floatzel does come in, we can just let it go down. In comes Maku, which is going to be the Dunsparce. Interesting. So Dunsparce comes in. It's definitely got a Eviolite, so I'm going to go ahead and take that real quick and give it a Throat Spray. If it's Boom Burst Dunsparce with Throat Spray, I'm going to flip. I'm going to flip. But let's see what it is. So we get the give them the throat spray. We're going to get a nice and powerful Levitate, not that it matters to Rotom, but we are crippling this thing by doing that. They go for a Stealth Rock, which is absolutely fine. And now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go for a Thunder, just because it's 100% accurate. It's our strongest stab move, and it's going to do some decent damage to the Dunsparce. So we go for a Thunder real quick. Does some decent damage. We could get Power Hacks as well. They go for a Body Slam. Oh dear. I'm guessing they thought we would switch there. That's unfortunate. Let's go for a Thunder again. Let's just spam Thunder at this thing. So Thunder comes through. It's going to do some solid damage. Nice damage, nice damage. As we do get the Paralysis this turn, which is all well and good. Thankfully there. They go for a Rock Slide though. Rock Slide is going to be able to KO us, unfortunately. As down goes Shocks. But Shocks did good. It crippled the Dunsparce, getting rid of its Eviolite. It crippled the Scream Tail, allowing us to KO it later on down the line. It did a really good job. Did a really good job that game, Rotom did. But now is the time for Barraskewda to come in and get a Liquidation off. So unfortunately, Liquidation is our strongest stab. Unfortunately, Barraskewda does not get Wave Crash, which is really unfortunate. And it lost Flip Turn, which is a real shame. But what can you do about that? So they probably switch into the Pelipper here. So what I'm going to do is... Oh, they probably let this thing go down, right? Yeah, they let this thing go down. There we go. Down goes the Dunsparce. Down it goes. Because they're probably thinking, hey, this thing might be choice banded. No, they sell Stealth Rocks. We're definitely heavy duty boots now as far as they're concerned. So rain is going to stop, which is unfortunate, but what can you do about that? In comes Totsuka, which is going to be the Gardevoir. So Gardevoir is an interesting one. It's going to trace our Swift Swim, which is really scary, in fact. They probably go for a Thunderbolt here, but I'm kind of nervous about it. So I'm going to go into Scizor. I think Scizor is the best switch here. There we go. Going to withdraw Barraskewda. Going to go into Scizor just to tank a Moonblast. I feel like they'll go for Moonblast over Thunderbolt just because it'll hit more Pokemon. It'll hit the Great Tusk if we brought that in, you know. So let's go into that real quick. They do go for a Moonblast as expected. It's not going to KO us as we're able to scare it out, thankfully. Because they definitely they have to stay in, right? They either stay in Terrifier or they switch out and go into the Skeledirge. I think Skeledirge is coming, so I'm going to go for that Defog. They do switch out into the Skeledirge more than likely, which is great. Skeletor is going to come in, the Paldea champion. Absolutely fantastic for me. We go for the Defog. It's going to get rid of them Stealth Rocks. Perfect. Down the Stealth Rocks go. So, what can we do here? They're probably going to go for a Torch Song to KO us. So we can just go into Pelipper. Pelipper's a perfect switch here. So we'll go into Pelipper real quick. There we go. Plopper comes in. The old Plopper over here. Gets that rain back up, which is always going to be nice for us. As they go for a Will-O-Wisp. So I'm glad I didn't switch in one of my physical attackers there, like the Great Tusk. And I'm glad I didn't switch Gardevoir in, because Gardevoir does not need more damage. Pelipper doesn't mind the burn damage. Its main thing here is to set up the rain. Looking at their team, they basically have like one switch in, which is going to be their own Pelipper. So I'm going to assume they're going to do that and go for a U-turn. They do withdraw Skeletor, of course. Are they going to go into the Pelipper or the Floatzel? That's the real question. Mine, that's the Pelipper. Definitely the Pelipper. Nice and Finding Nemo reference. I love it. So we go for a U-turn real quick. It's going to do minimal damage to the Pelipper, of course. However, it does give us a momentum, and we can come in on whatever we want now. If Rotom was still around, he'd be happy, but he's not, so it's like whatever. Looking at their team, though, Gardevoir's looking real good right now. We're going to go for a nice and powerful Thunderbolt. It's going to hurt everything on their team. Everything on their team is going to get hurt by the Thunderbolt from my Gardevoir. So we're going to trace this Drizzle, which doesn't really matter. It would have mattered if the rain had stopped, but, you know, it doesn't matter now. We're going to go straight for that Thunderbolt, and we're going to try and get a KO on something, or at least some damage on something. Thunderbolt comes through. They let the Pelipper go down to give him a free switch into something else. Makes a lot of sense. I have Tera Electric on my Pelipper for situations like that, just in case I want to keep my Drizzle user around, and I can't afford to switch out. So that's pretty good. Crasher Wake comes in. That's going to be the Floatzel, and it's nice and shiny. So I'm looking at their team and I'm thinking Great Tusk ain't doing a lot here. We can still use Scizor for the Bullet Punch later on down the line. I'm thinking Great Tusk ain't doing a lot. The Rocky Helmet plus the recoil from Wave Crash is going to do immense damage to the Floatzel. And that's what I'm looking for right now. That is what I'm looking for right now. So we'll go into the Great Tusk real quick. They go for a Wave Crash as expected. It's going to definitely KO us. I'm physically defensive, but it's definitely KO us. Rocky Helmet's going to dig in, and then there's going to be some immense recoil from the massive HP that we have. As there we go. That's some really good recoil. So, because of that, we can go into Barraskewda. And we can start cleaning up. Barraskewda's going to start cleaning up, okay? It's definitely going to start cleaning up. So we're going to Terrestrialize into a Water type. We're going to go for that Liquidation in the rain. They do withdraw the Floatzel, which is interesting. I'm wondering why. And they're going to go into Skeletor, the Paldea champion. They're just going to sack it off. Makes a lot of sense, but I'm kind of terrified as to why. So, we Terrestrialize into a Water type. That's obviously going to give us the advantage of being able to definitely one-shot this Skeletor. Definitely one-shotting this Skeletor with Liquidation. Breaking a potential focus. No, they know we're not Focus Sash. They know we're Heavy Duty Boots because obviously we didn't take Stealth Rock damage earlier. But we go for the Liquidation. And that is going to absolutely destroy this Skeletor. As down it goes. Down it goes, which is great. They do have the Rocky Helmet chip, which is unfortunate, but what can you do about that? Now they're going to bring Gardevoir in, get the Trace on the Swift Swim, and then they're going to start cleaning up with Gardevoir, or so they think. So in comes Totsuka, the Gardevoir. So now we're in a very good position. We're in a very good position. So they're obviously going to trace our Swift Swim. But we can afford this. Let's go into Pelipper. Pelipper can come in for us. We don't need the rain now because Barraskewda outspeeds both of the Pokemon on the team. If anything, we need the rain to go away. So they go for a Moonblast. It's going to do some solid damage to our Pelipper. It's not going to be able to take us out, which means we burn off one extra turn of the rain, which is great. That's what I'm looking for here. For a rain team to not have rain, that's what my rain team's goal in this particular instance is, to get rid of the rain. We need to get rid of the rain somehow. They're going to go for a Moonblast, which is absolutely fine. That's going to take out Pelipper, of course, as Plopper goes down, which is a real shame. But what can you do? As now, we go into Scizor. And there is always the option that they could Tera Fire here, but I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that because Bullet Punch is still going to do a lot of damage, and if they Tera Fire, then guess what? Barraskewda can come in and Aqua Jet in the face with Terrestrialization boosted. So we'll go for a Bullet Punch real quick. They aren't going to Tera, which is interesting. Wait, did they already Tera? I think they might have already Terra'd earlier. No, I don't think they did. No, they didn't. They didn't Tera. So I'm guessing they're saving that for the Floatzel. So the rain is going to stop now, which is really unfortunate. But I feel like Crash and Wake coming in now is an interesting one. So Barraskewda isn't going to finish this game up, I don't think. I think we're going to finish it with Scizor once again. But Barraskewda put in the work, okay? So they are going to Terrestrialize. They are going to Terrestrialize right now. They are going to Terrestrialize. They probably go for an Aqua Jet to take us out. Which will definitely take out Scizor. So I think it is coming down to Barraskewda. It's all coming down to Barraskewda right now. So they're going to go for an Aqua Jet, which is definitely going to take out Scizor at our measly 7 HP or whatever it was that we had, 8 HP. Sorry, my bad. Down goes Scizor. So that's good. Let's go into the Barraskewda. We outspeed this thing because there's no Swift Swim and we just naturally outspeed. So it's coming down to the 2 Water Swift Swim users. Let's go for the Liquidation and find out if we can get the KO. They go for the Aqua Jet just to try and get a crit, probably. Doesn't work out for them. Crit wouldn't have even KO'd. As we go for the Liquidation, which is definitely going to take out this Floatzel, no doubt in my mind, as down it goes. And that's going to be the game. So that was a pretty fun game. Raymond, that was brilliant. There was no hacks, which is always nice, other than the paralysis on the Dunsparce, but I don't think that really mattered. I don't think that mattered in the end, did it? So that's great. I don't think Dunsparce was doing too much that game, other than what it did. So that's pretty awesome. GG Raymond, once again, thank you for watching today's video. If you did enjoy, of course, leave a like, subscribe, all that wonderful stuff. And with that being said, I'll see you all in a bit.